The opulent murmur of Lucille Blanc was a familiar soundtrack to Elias Thorne's life, a world of polished silver and discreet power where his every need was anticipated. Yet, seated across from his 12-year-old daughter, Lily, he felt a familiar, aching helplessness. Lily, nonverbal and autistic, was absorbed in her tablet, a bulky noise-canceling headset protecting her from the restaurant's clatter, a universe away behind the walls of her condition. Elias's security detail stood sentry nearby, a human fortress he'd built to shield her, yet he felt powerless to truly reach her. The delicate equilibrium shattered with a sudden crash from the kitchen. Lily flinched violently, a low, distressed hum escaping her as her body went rigid, her hand knocking a juice glass onto the pristine linen. Elias's heart clenched, his soothing words tight with panic. Before he could react, the maître d', Philippe, arrived, his voice a sharp blade of disdain. "Sir, please control your daughter. She's disturbing the guests." The condemnation in his tone made Elias see red. But then, their waitress, Chloe, moved with a calm certainty, placing absorbent napkins on the spill, her focus entirely on Lily. "No big deal," she murmured, her voice a gentle anchor. She deftly redirected the furious maître d' before turning back, offering a smooth worry stone from her apron. "This is my quiet friend," she told Lily softly. "He helps me, too." Lily's flickering gaze landed on the stone, her humming softening as her trembling hand reached out to touch it. Elias watched, utterly speechless, as this stranger accomplished what he often could not. She saw not a disabled child, but a scared little girl, and with breathtaking kindness, she protected her. The silent car ride home was filled with the echo of Chloe's simple, profound act. Elias, a titan who commanded boardrooms, felt utterly dwarfed by the quiet competence of a waitress. The obscene tip he'd left felt like a vulgar insult to the priceless gift she'd given them, a moment of peace for his daughter. By morning, his ruthless efficiency was redirected. His assistant, Anya, delivered a dossier on Chloe Davis by lunch, a nursing student, top of her class, working 3 jobs, scraping by but debt-free. The nursing student detail clicked into place, explaining her instinctual calm. He found her outside her modest apartment, heading to class, and her immediate, genuine concern was for Lily's well-being, not his presence. His offer was blunt, a billionaire's solution, a job as Lily's companion, tripling her income, freeing her from her grueling schedule. Her refusal was a shock to his system, a sensation he hadn't felt in decades. "Lily isn't a problem to be solved," she stated, her words striking a nerve he didn't know was exposed. "You should be the one doing it." As she turned to leave, a panicked, unfamiliar desperation gripped him. "Wait," he called out, the word foreign and pleading. "What if you taught me?" The proposal hung in the air, a trial period where she would care for Lily but, more importantly, guide him, showing him how to bridge the chasm he couldn't cross alone. He saw her assessing him, looking past the wealth and power for the father beneath, and after a long moment, she laid down her terms, a 2-month trial, her rules, and his genuine participation. Elias Thorne, who negotiated billion-dollar mergers, simply nodded his agreement to the waitress's conditions, a humbling surrender for a chance to finally reach his daughter. The Thorne penthouse, a cold monument to minimalist luxury, slowly transformed into a vibrant classroom under Chloe's gentle guidance. She began not with grand gestures, but with quiet observation, teaching Elias to decipher the subtle language of his daughter, the specific flicker of fingers that meant joy, the soft hum of deep concentration. She showed him that connection wasn't about forceful interaction but parallel presence, simply sharing space without demand. One afternoon, she gently chided his palpable anxiety. "She feels your tension, Elias. Just breathe. Be here." Tentatively, he lowered himself to the floor beside Lily's chair, a universe away from his executive throne, and picked up a spare tablet to doodle. Lily paused her own drawing, glanced at his screen, emitted a soft, curious sound, and returned to her work. It wasn't a hug or a word, but it was a connection, and Elias felt a sting of tears at the monumental breakthrough. Chloe introduced tools that spoke Lily's language, visual schedules to ease transitions, an advanced communication app that unlocked her mathematical brilliance, sensory toys that were far more effective than any expensive gadget he'd ever bought. Elias learned his daughter loved the deep pressure of a weighted blanket and found solace in the sound of rain. He saw the fatigue behind Chloe's eyes after long study sessions and the quiet pride she took in her work, his initial shock at her refusal giving way to a deep, abiding respect. One evening, after she'd helped put Lily to bed, he offered her a drink and voiced the profound truth she had shown him. "You've changed everything." I was building a fortress around her. "You showed me how to build a bridge." Chloe smiled. "She was always there, Elias. You just needed the right map." For the first time since his wife's passing, the penthouse didn't feel like a gilded cage, filled with the evidence of pillow forts and shared quiet moments. It finally, truly, felt like a home. The 2-month trial was nearing its end, and Elias knew with absolute certainty he could not return to the lonely world before Chloe. Watching her and Lily laughing inside an elaborate pillow fort, he resolved to make her role permanent. Retrieving a generous, formal contract from his study, his eye caught an urgent email alert from his private investigator. The subject line, "Addendum to the Davis Report," made his blood run cold. The text revealed the shocking truth: Chloe was the daughter of Robert and Maria Davis. The names were a gut punch. Robert Davis was the CEO of the small tech firm Elias had ruthlessly dismantled in a hostile takeover years prior, a crushing defeat that had led to the man's suicide and, later, his wife's death from illness exacerbated by grief and lost insurance. Staggering back, Elias was consumed by a terrifying, icy rage. This was no coincidence. It was revenge. He stormed into the living room, thrusting the printed email at her, his voice a venomous snarl. "You knew. Was this your plan? Get close to my daughter to punish me?" Chloe's face paled, but her voice was steady as she calmly directed a frightened Lily to her room. Once alone, she confirmed it all. "Yes, I knew. I hated you for years." But then her tone shifted from cold truth to fiery conviction. "But I took the job for her. Because no child deserves that loneliness, not even yours." She revealed her true, shocking revenge, not to harm him, but to show him what he was missing, to give his daughter the understanding she herself had been denied after he took her parents. "The shocking part," she said, picking up her backpack, "is that I gave your daughter everything I wished I'd had. The bill for that isn't on any contract. You can't afford it." And she walked out, leaving Elias utterly shattered, surrounded by priceless wealth but finally understanding the devastating cost of the humanity he had just lost.